I'm here with Corey Stockton, our lead level designer, Tom Chilton, our other lead game designer, and Mr. Lee Sparks, one of our producers in charge of design for World of Warcraft. We're going to be presenting to you today an overview of Wrath of the Lich King. Real quick, before I get to that, I want to mention what a great year it's been for World of Warcraft in general, largely in part to all of you playing the game and having fun. This year we introduced our first expansion, Burning Crusade. Everybody's been playing it, having a great time. We had patch 2.1, which introduced the Black Temple. We also introduced the concept of daily quests to put Chinese gold farmers out of business, and it's working. So far, so good. As Frank mentioned in the intro before, we also have integrated voice chat coming. So time to stop paying for Ventrilo and TeamSpeak. We'll also have Zulaman coming, which will be an upgrade to Karazhan. That's coming up in very soon. I'm probably not supposed to say when it's coming out, but big surprise. And we have a lot of other cool stuff, but what we're most excited about is probably the reason a lot of you are here today, and what you want to hear about in this panel, is the Wrath of the Lich King overview. At the end of this panel, you guys are going to have a chance to ask us questions, because I'm sure announcing a lot of these features of the expansion brings up a lot of questions in your mind. So keep that in mind as well. We'll have that at the end. So welcome to Northrend. Northrend was the zone that Blizzard introduced in Warcraft 3. Arthas went up there, killed his buddy Muradin, grabbed Frostmourne, all that good stuff, and we're going back there. Here's what the map will look like. Northrend is the northern continent in Azeroth. It's largely snowy, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Our goal is to not have an entire expansion that takes place in the snow. We think some snow zones are pretty cool, but not an entire expansion. So we'll give you some examples of that coming up. It'll also have a lot of zones. It'll probably have more zones than Outland does. Since we're not introducing new races with this expansion, we can focus more on the continent of Northrend, so we can actually build more for Northrend. Pretty excited about that. Obviously, the lore and story reason for going to Northrend is all about Arthas. Something we learned from Burning Crusade that we want to do more of is let players of all levels interact with the main character. So in Burning Crusade, we didn't give you enough interaction with Illidan, but in Wrath of the Lich King, right away we're going to introduce you to Arthas, and you're going to get to interact with him in a number of different scenarios. So it's not only going to be an endgame raid, everybody will have a chance to hang out with Arthas. He's really bad about breaking CC though, so you don't want to group with him. So let's talk more about Northrend. The big thing is obviously the level cap going to 80. A lot of people, the thing that they love most in World of Warcraft is progressing their character through levels, doing quests, getting new spells, new abilities, being able to spend new points on different talents. We think the real core feature of Wrath of the Lich King is raising the level cap to 80. It's going to give people a lot of new zones to explore and just a lot of content that we can pack into those 10 levels. What else have we got here? Of course, the new character class, the Death Knight, World of Warcraft's first hero class. Tom Chilton is going to be speaking exclusively about this in the later part of this demonstration, but we think you guys will be really excited by the Death Knight. I was sitting next to my stepson, who's 12 years old, during the introduction movie that Frank showed, and he saw the Death Knight, and the first question he asked me after he saw the movie was, hey, is the Death Knight going to be able to summon things? Because you saw him in that video, like calling down all the ghouls and all that. I'm like, yeah, he's going to be able to summon stuff. And then the second question he asked me is it going to be overpowered like the Warlock? Can't promise you that. All right, so the other thing that we're going to have is siege weapons and destructible buildings, because blowing stuff up is cool. And inscription, a new profession. So inscription will be a full-blown profession like jewel crafting was that we introduced in the Burning Crusade. To give you a quick example of what it'll let you do, it'll let you modify existing spells and abilities of characters. To give one example of a spell that might be able to be inscribed would be Fireball. You take the mage's Fireball and you can inscribe it to perhaps have a knockback. Maybe it does further dot damage or increase the direct damage that it does. So you'll be able to do a lot more with inscription. It'll be perfectly balanced too. Tom promises that. Of course, there's going to be many new zones, new creatures, new items. Our art team, I highly recommend that you guys go to our art panel later at Blizzcon. You're going to see a lot of new Northrend art. Also, please go out to the demo stations in the corner of the next hall. You'll get to see a lot of the new creatures that we've already built. The tall, menacing Brightpool, and lots of the cool new weapons we've built. So there will be tons of new content coming in Northrend. We're also going to have new character customization options. We're going to give you a way to change your hairstyle in addition to adding new hairstyles. Everybody teased us that it wasn't a cool feature, and then when Frank announced that and everybody cheered the loudest, I said, see, they want to change their hairstyle. Epic barber shops are coming. No, you can't change your face. Plastic surgery will probably be the next expansion after that. So let's go into Northrend a little bit. Like I said, it was first introduced in Warcraft 3. And then the follow-up to Warcraft 3, its expansion, The Frozen Throne, really focused heavily on that. Here we go. It was created during the War of the Ancients, home of the Nerubians, who we'll talk more about later. The Lich King, Arthas, is up at Icecrown Glacier, and you'll get to explore that area for sure. And as like I said, it first introduced in Warcraft 3. So I'm about to hand you off to Corey Stockton, our lead level designer, and he will go into more detail about the Northrend map. Here's actually the first version that we've shown. I showed you that artist rendition on the world map before, but this is the first actual design map that we're showing. And it features 4 of the zones in Northrend, and we'll let Corey talk more about that. So here's Corey Stockton.
Hey guys. So you're probably wondering, you've seen a lot of the features, but what are the zones you're actually going to get to play in? So the idea here is to give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek of what you're going to see. So one of the main things we wanted to focus on, kind of a lesson we learned from Burning Crusade, was let's have 2 points of entry. Everyone came into Hellfire. I'm sure a lot of you were there, it's crowded. So we know that's something we want to do right off the bat. So here you can see both Borean Tundra on the west side and Howling Fjord on the east side. We're going to have 2 zones. So when you choose to go into Northrend for the first time, you can choose either side. Both sides will be set up for the same leveling flow. So let's say you want to create another character, you could go to the other side and get a completely different experience with different quests, different dungeons. Gives a little bit more replayability, and it just also helps us keep the traffic down in the zones. Here's some really pretty arrows that show where these entry points are. So the first zone we're going to go into a little more detail on is Howling Fjord. Howling Fjord is the zone that we have playable here at the show. You can see where it is on the map here on Northrend. So here's a couple concepts. So kind of the basis behind Howling Fjord is there's a giant fjord. What a surprise. It runs through the middle of the zone. This is a concept shot here that kind of shows a little bit about how it looks. Here's a cliff edge. So kind of one interesting, unique thing about Howling Fjord is it's surrounded all the way around by cliff edges. So you'll come in and you'll be able to come right through the fjord, and we're just going to take you right directly into the gameplay. So we kind of wanted to get players jumped right into the story. You're going to meet the Vrykul, like Jeff mentioned a little earlier. They're a group, these 13-foot tall Viking, just badasses. They look awesome. They're going to be all over the zone. This is their home zone. They also inhabit Utgard. Utgard is one of the playable dungeons that we have here at the show. You guys should really check it out. Here's another concept here. This is a little look at some of the things that the Vrykul do. They're really, really evil race. They've always been evil, and they're starting to maybe feel the call of the Lich King a little bit, and that'll play out more in the quest and the story lore as you get into it. So now we've got a little quick in-game video showing you of some